The Few Who Sacrifice for the Many. By Hallman. Over the years, I have written a lot about the days we reserve to honor our military veterans, Veterans Day and Memorial Day. Growing up in the years following World War II and then serving in Vietnam in my early 20s instilled in me a deep respect for our country, its people, and especially its veterans. Most veterans of World War II didn't talk about their experiences. Two of my uncles served in World War II and I never heard them talk about it. Movies and reruns on early TV created my impressions of the war, which ended when I was 1 year old. I loved them all, but one of my all-time favorites was the 1949 film Battleground, which portrayed soldiers as normal human beings with great courage. Korean and Vietnam War vets also did not talk much about their war experiences, because when they returned, many people didn't care to listen to them. Vietnam vets are often called the forgotten vets. I didn't experience that when I returned to my home in the Kensington section of Philadelphia. People there respected veterans because many folks from Kensington were vets or had family members who had served. In Kensington, a blue-collar, hard-working factory neighborhood, the assumption was that you would serve in the military. If you didn't volunteer, you would be drafted. Most 18-year-old boys back then didn't plan for a career until they returned from their military experience. That is, if they returned. Obtaining a deferment was rare, because families frankly didn't have the money to send their children to college or the connections to get them out of the draft. The thing is, most of the guys I knew didn't want a deferment. They chose to serve their country. Two friends of mine, both from the Frankfurt and Kensington area, who I met shortly after the war are Vietnam vets. It wasn't until we were in our 60s that I learned one had a Bronze Star, a Silver Star, and 2 Purple Hearts. The other had a Bronze Star. That's how it is with most vets. Unless you ask, they won't tell you about their experiences. Another friend I hung out with as a teen was a Marine who served in Vietnam. He was a forward observer and lost 3 of his radio men. Can you imagine having seen 3 of your friends killed? My Vietnam experience was different from those of my friends. I was in the Air Force and stationed in the big city of Saigon. Sure, there were terrorist attacks and even an occasional rocket strike, but it was nothing like what the men and women in the jungles and front lines experienced. I don't wake up in a cold sweat from war-related nightmares or suffer from the debilitating effects of Agent Orange. As Veterans Day approaches, I will watch some of the old classic war movies, like Patton, Midway, In Harm's Way, Saving Private Ryan, and, of course, Battleground. I do this so I remember the sacrifices our veterans made. I never want to forget that. All 4 of my Mercy Row novels, which are crime stories, include veterans' sub-stories in various wars from 1898 to 1975. It's my way of honoring all veterans. I know veterans don't care if you wave a flag in their face or give them a meal on Veterans Day. They just want to be remembered and have their families recognized for the sacrifices made by so few for the benefit of so many.